It's my very special recipe.
Oh, wow, wait. Santa Claus, come quick. Look. Incoming. Take cover. It's Lee Majors, the $6 million band.
Santa, it don't matter a hill of beans what happens to me. The world couldn't afford it if anything happened to you. Now, you stay put.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Lee. And Lee, you're being a real good boy this year.
Yes, you sure have.
Well, sure, that clip is way over the top, and Lee Majors is way too old to still be the $6 million man. But Christmas always finds a way of dropping in on us, doesn't it, every year? Even though it's over the top, even though we're too old for some of the things that seem to be going on, there's always something just special or something different or something we can't even put our fingers on about it. Because there's nothing like it on any of our calendars. And there's no other form of consumerism like it, or there's no other form of kindness, no other form of kinship, or there's no other form of charity, or no even other form of crankiness sometimes that gets into us. And there's a wide variety of things to Christmas. And our lens to that is in our video view. The Christmas season, does it bring complication or does it bring calm to you?
Calming. Calming effect.
Calming.
Calming effect.
Do you call joy calming?
With all of those things that are going on at Christmas, why did we get 6 out of 6 calming? You know, we could certainly ask a whole list of experts. We get a lot of different answers. But how about we go to the source, the very first story of the first Christmas. And we see that in Luke's 2nd chapter, which tells us that there was a man in Jerusalem called Simeon. And some of you may be going, I don't remember him at the manger. He wasn't at the manger. He was a little earlier than that. In fact, God said to Simeon, you are not going to die until you see the Messiah. And so Simeon was moved by the Spirit to go to the temple courts because there were also the parents of Jesus who brought the child. And so Simeon took him in his arms, praised God, and said, this child is destined to cause the falling and the rising of many in Israel. Now, when you see that falling and rising, what are we talking about? Well, if you fast forward a couple thousand years and you look around what's going on today, you might somehow think that maybe the falling had something to do with the falling gasoline prices. They really don't, although it does seem like a Christmas gift this time of year, doesn't it? And also, don't think that the rising maybe has anything to do with this team that a few people are fond of that might be heading towards the national championship. It's about much more important things than even those. When we talk about rising and falling, what are we really talking about? Well, let me give you an illustration. You see the person on the slide? What would happen if they were to fall a little bit below where they are right now? Would you describe their situation as calming or complicated? Be complicated, exactly. But if they were able to rise up from that position where they were, would that be a complicated or a calming situation? Be calming. If we look in Matthew's details about this story, here is what we see. 2 people appear. And we see Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, and afterwards, during that time, there was King Herod. Now, note that's one, okay? And then there were Magi from the east. Note that's the second. And so they came to Jerusalem. And what was the issue? What brought them together? It was the question, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? It tends to actually kind of put them at odds with each other. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. And then Herod called the Magi secretly and said, go make a careful search for the child. Now, the word disturbed is kind of another code word for calm or complicated. Complicated. And so when it comes to Herod, what was he searching for? He was searching for a way to hang on to what he had. Because, man, he had some stuff. And what happens is it's so easy for us sometimes to fall into that same trap. when we wouldn't want to betray the way that we think about things. We wouldn't want to betray the way we do things. We wouldn't want to betray the way we want things to turn out, and we all try to hang on to all those things. We can do somewhat the same thing. But here's what we see as the story continues. The Magi went on their way. They followed, as we know, a star. We've heard about that. And when they got to a place where the star stopped, they were overjoyed. Now, this is also kind of a code word. Is joy a code word for complexity or more for, would you say, calm? Calm. I mean, there's some complex joys we have, but generally, when you're feeling joy, calm. You're wrapped up in it. It's an incredible thing. In that way, joy or happiness is a contagious thing. Have you ever noticed that? And that's the kind that the Magi saw. And that's the kind of joy that's been contagious for 2,000 years. And so we need to be open to that. We need to see possibilities beyond where we are, because God is there in those.
You want to know the real reason why I'm here right now?
Sure.
Came to hear my granddaughter sing. And I can't come and hear her tonight.
You have plans?
I'm not welcome with my son. Years back, before you and your family moved on the block, I had an argument with my son.
How old is he?
He's grown up. We lost our tempers, and I said I didn't care to see him anymore. He said the same. We haven't spoken to each other since.
If you miss him, why don't you call him?
I'm afraid if I call him, he won't talk to me.
Aren't you a little old to be afraid?
You can be a little old for a lot of things. You're never too old to be afraid.
That's true.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. What about you?
Me?
Yeah, you and your son.
We'll see what happens. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What happens is God has a way of guiding you and leading you. He has a way of protecting you. He has a way of helping you to go to places you never even dreamed of. And there's seriously an infinite number of things that you can do this holiday season that will help you rise up beyond where you are and what you see. So look for them. Seek them out and see what God might have for you this Christmas.